Mr. Hanson, can you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. First on the agenda, 8:45, we've got ordinance 108, amend Title 4, the first reading. I think that's going around here. Good morning, how are ya?
Good morning.
Want to give us the lowdown on that?
Yep. Basically, what we're going to do with our ordinance, there's South Dakota codified law that was, I think, wrong for probably 10 years. It was changed at state level, just an old ordinance number update there. And then we added 4 different scenarios to put a time limit on variance applications. So a maximum of 2 years once they apply and if they have it approved, and then they can get a permit. And if they don't get one, there will be an expiration date after a couple of years. And that's kind of to protect, let's say someone comes in and gets a variance for a large grain facility with a lot of semis and scales and all that stuff, and someone buys a land next door to it and don't know that that's going on or that that was approved, and they come in several years later and this guy was going to build a house or something next to it with a time frame in there, at least it, they could reapply, you know, at a later date if they needed to. Because landscaping and stuff changes over time.
All right, any questions for Scott?
Move first reading of it.
Second. Motion from Fishback, second from Hanson. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you for the heads up.
Thanks, Scott.
So we got a couple minutes. Do you want to do a few of your things, Maxine?
Okay, minutes from the City County, April 17th, and the General and County Board of Equalization minutes from April 18th.
Move.
Motion from Feldheim,
Second.
second from Fishback. Any questions or corrections to those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move. Motion from Hanson,
Second.
second from Feldheim. Questions on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Motion from Feldheim, second from Fishback. Any questions on the insurance or anything in there? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Fair contracts.
Move.
Motion from Fishback,
Second.
second from Hanson. Any questions on the contract? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lease agreements.
Move.
Motion from Feldheim,
Second.
seconded by Hanson. Did everybody get the chance to read through the lease agreements? Any questions on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Plats, there were 3 of them.
Move them. Moved from Hanson,
Second.
second from Fishback. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Township bonds, there are still 2 missing, West Rondell and Columbia, but we'll do those when they come in.
Move.
Second.
Motion from Fishback, seconded from Hanson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
That's all I got.
All right. That brings us close to our next item at 8:50. Derek Ritchie, Fair Manager, to discuss the 2017 ticket policy. How's it going, Derek?
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Did everybody get the update that Derek's referring to? Okay. So none of this is currently in policy, is that right?
None of this is currently in policy. What we're doing is looking at setting up a singular touch point cash control system, which basically is going to create reset points. So as we're going through the audit process, we'll be able to identify, think of it like putting a bookcase together. All right, if you get to step 4, then you got a shelf in backwards. All right, we probably made the mistake between step 3 and step 4. Very similar to that. So what you'll see there is kind of a detailed, from training to selling to reporting and accounting. Now between pages 3 and 4, there were some recommendations that I had made that required input from other folks. We worked through the first and second bullet points, and after talking with some folks earlier this morning, I think point 3 can be worked out to the point where during the week we'll bring the deposits over the following morning, but then for the weekend deposits, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll drop them in the night depository, and then a member of the treasury staff can get them on Monday, if that's agreeable. We're trying to establish a singular touch point, so we don't want a member of the fair staff depositing it in the night depository and then going back and getting it on Monday, because you're kind of defeating the point of that singular touch point at that point. So we're off the original recommendation and on to that recommendation, if that's agreeable to everybody.
That's similar to what I was saying we
Yeah.
did
Yep.
when we first, right.
And as you'll remember, you guys passed an ordinance late last year, early this year, I can't remember which now, that revisited a lot of the different kind of fair policies. And in that, you gave yourself the ability to establish some financial procedures. And so this would address those, kind of fill that gap. And this is something you can do anytime you want now. It's not an ordinance thing. You can revise these as need be. Generally, probably once a year after you look at them and decide what to do. So that's what this is attempting to address, and that setting up kind of a financial reporting policy for the fair.
So nothing has changed in your proposal as far as the grayed out area? You think that's all?
Gray would stay all the same. We would just remove the green, which were recommendations now that we've worked with auditors on kind of chart accounts and separating out some accounts to make it easier to audit.
Remove what?
We'd remove all the green that's on page 3 of page 4, because those are
Ours
recommendations.
is colored,
Oh, it's not
we're
colored?
black and gray.
Okay. Recommendations, they start about halfway on page 3, or probably 2/3 of the way down on page 3, it says requested under
Yep.
reporting and accounting.
Yeah.
Starting with requested down through being open, you'll see the first bullet point that will be on page 4 will be sales tax shall be remitted based on the report. So all of those sections will come out, and I'll re-forward that over to the group.
Oh, so the light gray, that comes out?
Is it light gray on yours? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's light gray, then it would come out.
Requested part?
Yep. Anything that's under the requested section will come out. Because we've worked through those.
Okay, so my light gray is your green?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions on that? Any concerns from the treasurer's office?
And as long as no one's taking deposits in my account, as I'm making my own deposits, that was my primary concern.
Okay.
This is just safety for the...
Yeah, I said all along, I don't have a problem with using night depositories, but I do have a problem with someone putting money in our account when I don't have
Yeah,
direct.
that's understandable.
And it will be a sub-account now?
It's
fair?
it's in a different accounting max setup fund, yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Are you thinking to go ahead and approve it today, or wait for the final updates, or what?
Do we have a few updates coming, or?
Just the removal of the green, and I have copies of that for you guys in green, if that would be helpful for you.
I think the green is the same as what the gray is.
Yeah, I know.
Does anyone else have concerns, or do you want to move forward today?
Well, I have one other recommendation, and that's that the fair and the treasurers worked out a kind of reporting form that makes it easy for both sides to kind of get the information they need to do their job. And I would recommend that you just attach that as a copy to the policy so that that's approved by the commission as the official way the data is reported between the two different departments.
And everyone's agreeable on that?
Well, we
I think that's
Larry
in here.
did that for us, for the checks, for the credit card, and we do a similar one for the cash.
And that's worked pretty good.
Yeah.
Isn't that what page 3 reporting, a report shall be generated by the ticket selling system that is being
No.
used? You need something additional that, other than?
There's a summary document that we worked on.
Oh, okay.
Well, what we'll do is we'll attach the report with the summary document.
Why don't we put it all
Well,
together,
let's
do
wait
it
it
next
then,
week?
yeah.
I just presented it as a done deal.
That's fine.
All right, any other questions? Otherwise, we'll hold off till next week
Thank you.
and put them all together.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
for all your
Thanks.
work. I know this was not easy to do, so.
Change is hard. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you, have a good day.
Thanks, Derek.
Give me a little bit. Thanks, guys.
All right, we've got a few minutes before the next item. Did you have anything else, Maxine?
Nope.
Gary, do you have anything for us?
Just a couple things. I sent you this morning, we got delivered updated joint agreement with Groton PD. You can take a look at. Hopefully, we can discuss that more next week also.
Get it printed out for us so we can...
Yeah, basically, it's down to an hourly mostly for mileage. The hourly got taken out, and we're just looking at mileage increases pretty much.
Did you send that to us?
Yeah, I glanced at it a little
Yeah,
bit, but I
to you this morning.
read that on my phone.
Take a look at it, and we'll give some time, Sheriff's been out to take a look at it also, and Larry can review it, and we'll discuss it more next week, so.
Okay.
Also, yesterday I was forwarded written authorization to assign lease, and that I sent to you all. I don't know if you wanted to discuss that today, for the landfill area from Randy Bauer.
Well, does it say in our original contract they can't sublease it?
I have not seen that yet. I just got this, so.
I have a problem with it being subleased, I really do.
You know, Max?
I'd have to look, this is the first I heard of it.
So once we sublease, who becomes responsible if there's a problem?
Yeah.
I think it says in the contract that you can't sublease, but I don't know, maybe getting out sometime, take a look. Maybe can you email it to us, or possibly? Okay, thanks. Let's put that off a week then, too.
Sounds good.
Something else we want.
All right. That's all I have.
All you had? All right. Anything else? Larry, did you have anything for us?
We'll have some stuff at 9:25.
Okay. Well, we got a couple minutes here. Running ahead of schedule, that's odd.
It's because Dwayne's not here.
Yeah, right. Very much.
You know, he does watch this.
Take the low limit talk yesterday, you did,
Yeah,
didn't you? I had a
everything
couple calls.
except-
I said if the sign's up, they're off.
Yep, 3A and 18 from Houghton going south, those two are still on. 3A is probably the worst road we got for breakup. Matter of fact, we don't have anything even close to that anywhere else. So,
3A.
that's going
That's
into
up there
Elm Lake.
Oh, that one, okay.
Yeah, I went up there yesterday, it's like driving on a waterbed still. Friggin' squishy.
Really?
Squishy, yeah.
Not much you can do when it's like that, is there?
Not really, and the breakups aren't, I mean, I wish it would have been a little better. That's the second freeze thaw it went through, you know, last spring we must not have anywhere near the moisture in the road beds, but it's, you know, we've tried a few blotters in a few spots where, you know, if they worked, great, if they didn't, we got something to build on now, so we'll go up there right away and get it straight.
Overall, the whole county, well, how would you rate it compared to past years?
So
Breakups.
this is my fourth spring, I guess, technically, since I came back. This isn't anywhere near what used to happen. Now, I gotta qualify that first year, because we did about 4 years' worth of patch in that first
Yeah.
year. But,
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot
no,
either.
I remember going from Claremont, or excuse me, Columbia up to State 10 one year, that was just like pothole after pothole.
Yeah, the roads I use are pretty good.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
Yeah.
I just came across Tacoma Park this morning, it was, you know, it's not a super highway, but there's only 2 potholes in 14 miles, so that's pretty good. But yeah, compared to, boy, the mid-70s, and holy cow, I mean, we used to spend about $500,000 of our, you know, probably like, I shouldn't put it that way, say 20-25% of our asphalt money used to go just to patch potholes, no overlays, no nothing. And now we're, like this year, it's gonna be, you know, maybe 500 ton or something, it won't be bad. So, we're not out of the woods yet, I probably shouldn't have said all that. I'm just trying to fill time till 9 o'clock.
Okay, we're close enough.
Keep talking.
You can take the hot seat now, we're close enough. Next on the agenda, Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, to discuss speed zones.
Yeah, well, I first have to apologize, I haven't even talked to Maxine about this since last week. I haven't really changed, you know, what I was gonna propose anyway. I would still like to have it changed from a 55 to a 35 at the half-mile line on that mile north of Fairgrounds Road on Roosevelt. the same thing we were talking about last week. And then, side note, I don't know if you wanna do anything on our piece of Fairgrounds Road, or just leave that. You know, I feel a little differently, because there's a stop sign there, and we covered that.
Which piece on Fairgrounds
The
Road
east side of it.
specifically?
Yeah, going from Roosevelt, going east over to the Sports Complex Road.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
almost all.
Yeah.
That's 55,
And that's 55, the
Wish
whole
they would have
thing.
put a sidewalk on that north end
Yeah,
side of that development. That was just poorly.
yeah.
Is there any talks of that? Do you guys know? Have you heard?
I'm not aware of anything,
You would
but there's
think,
more houses that are, I mean, they're right up to the road.
well, wouldn't you think with houses that close to such a busy road that they would have had a sidewalk in there?
Part of the thing is some of that road isn't improved, and we can't make an existing house put in a sidewalk.
We'll give you a half mile there.
Huh?
Yeah,
We'll give you a half mile there.
yeah. We can do that today.
I thought maybe that's what you were here for. Requesting it? You just wanted it?
But,
We could give them that first half mile going north road, or
Yeah.
the Fairgrounds Road too.
Yeah.
They like the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
that's, well, now we're getting some topics next week. Because we're all I'm gonna get on the other side of the fence if that's the topic. If we're talking speed limits, I'm gonna stay where I'm at, but,
Well, I think when you put on the agenda, discuss speed zones, if we're gonna take action, we have to be specific on
And
the
that's-
agenda so people know what we're talking about.
And that's
So-
fine, that's why I'm trying to qualify.
Sure.
I'll admit I dropped the ball, we had a little flu outbreak at the highway department.
Oh, no.
And
Just keep it over there.
I've had to work the last week, so it's, but I didn't get an opportunity to sit down with Max and, you know, talk about how we would amend the current
Sure.
speed ordinance, and so that's fine from my perspective. I did want to revisit the topic, because when we wrapped up last week, there was some vagaries in what our objectives were, I guess.
I think
so.
there still is.
And-
So, when you come off Prairiewood and you're heading south, you want 55 for the first half mile.
Yep,
Okay, there's a walkway there.
yep.
There's a
What,
trail.
it just dead ends there on?
Yep. What that is, it's the old railroad line, and it continues all the way up and used to go through Ordway and everything. And you guys can correct me if I say something wrong here. That got sold, you know, as a piece of land over the years and evolved, and then eventually, I believe there's a water main maybe that runs in that same thing, and the city had it for running their water main down that old railroad grade from the water plant, and then subsequently you also use the same space to put the bike trail in there, and that's basically the north terminus of the bike path for the city. Is that pretty close?
Any plans to keep going on that? No?
We would have to annex more land into the city in that area.
See, we're back, that's another good
plans on
topic.
that
We don't speed limit. We don't control annexation, it's all voluntary.
It's the safety of the
Oh.
corner of Fairgrounds Road and North
Forest.
Roosevelt, that's the point, is safety.
So what would you guys like to see?
Definitely where the houses start, I'd like to see it go to 35. So
So
that
at
way,
the intersection of Roosevelt and Fairgrounds Road, go 35, how far?
up to, what, half mile?
That's what
Yeah.
Dirk's
Yeah.
proposing.
To the end of the boulevards area
Yeah.
would be,
Yeah.
where boulevards start, I think would be appropriate.
And we can
Because
get
north of that is farm,
Yep, there's two.
or hobby farms, so.
Yeah. And I think that would be a good start, because, I mean, no one's gonna slow down right at 35 at the boulevards. I mean, even though it's posted speed limit, some people may not even be up to speed yet in a half mile, but at least then they'd be slowed down before that intersection. There is gonna be signage too at some point for a crosswalk that'll get put on that area.
When is that
It needs a
going in?
crosswalk.
Is there a tentative date for that? Because you're talking right across so that the folks in that development the kids can go to school and...
Right.
Yeah. All they
Robin,
get,
Robin didn't give any definite.
Are you gonna have like lights flashing or
I
something,
don't
like
think
the
that's
kids can post
proposed.
across?
I don't think that's
That would be-
proposed right now.
That would be good.
that would be my hope.
I would think so. You know, the summer, I mean, the school time isn't so bad, but like in the winter when I saw the kids with the sleds sliding, you know, it's crossing an icy street, because they don't really, I'm sorry, you don't really clean your streets down to the...
You have to remember, we're a different body than you are. We don't
You have
make
more money.
these decisions. That's why I'm not saying, we're here
You
to
have
run a point of a
influence. You have
35-mile-an-hour
influence.
speed limit.
Gotta get back to speed zone.
I would like to see some cautionary light or something out there, if that the kids could push to cross or something,
And,
or on at school times or school release.
and we
We'll
can,
bring that up to Robin.
Well, similar to 18th, when they put the lights on at 7 AM,
Yeah.
and then they're,
Yeah.
or
do you guys mind, just for the record, to step forward and state your name, so, because we're on air, so that people know who...
You can look in the camera if you want.
David Bunceness, City Council.
Clint Rock City Council.
And we have a member of the neighborhood here. that's
Kylie
proposing-
Waldo.
Oh.
I live out at,
Yeah.
yes, I was the one that sent the email, so I live, out at Prairie's Edge, and I was the one that kind of sparked this whole conversation, because
Good.
we have 6 young kids, and we live in that development, so, and our 2 older ones are starting to ride their bikes, and we're slowly letting them come out of their bubble wrap and venture out on their own. So that was my biggest fear, was teaching them to cross, Roosevelt, and teaching them, when cars are coming 55 miles an hour, that they need to wait and wait and wait again, and with there not being a crosswalk there and things. So, and it gets really muddy because it's county road and city, and it's all kinds of things. So I appreciate you guys looking at it.
Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions, comments? Well, I think if it's something you're gonna go forward with, I think it needs to specifically say on the agenda, this section, looking at, because this is one of the few things that we do that truly affects people, and they actually notice when we do speed limits, so I just would prefer to have it on the agenda so other people could come have their say too, so.
For every good we do at 35, we're gonna have the bad saying, would you lower that to 35?
Yeah.
Understand. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
one of these where you're gonna have as many people mad that you lowered it as you're gonna have happy that it's gonna be one or the other.
The vagueness in the agenda was my fault, because I knew Dirk and I had not met yet, and I knew you wanted to talk about it, but we didn't have anything concrete.
We'll get
This
it,
is good.
we'll get it squared up so that she'll have
Yeah.
the verbiage
Yeah.
and the resolution the way it should be to identify that.
Mhm.
And
next week.
Yeah.
It'll be on the agendas next week.
Yeah.
And then you could tell us about the lights and the crosswalk.
We'll bring Robin with us.
You should, yeah, the
That'd be
overall
good.
plan for the area.
Okay,
That'd be great.
Yeah.
excellent.
Thank you, guys,
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in.
Thank
Any
you.
other
Thank
questions?
you, Kylie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just before we move on, because you said, the intersection of Fairgrounds Road and Roosevelt, right?
Yep.
Heading east?
Heading north.
Heading
We're
north.
talking north this
All right.
time.
Got it.
And they
All right.
mentioned east
So we
too.
do a lot of
That's what
things.
I was,
We're not
I don't know how
talking
you're
about
going
that
east
right
to
now.
the
No, we're
sports
going
complex
north.
from there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, well,
Okay.
thank you much, guys. That brings us, any other questions for Dirk while he's here? That's enough for today, get out of here.
You guys have a good day.
You
Thanks for
too.
taking the load on us all.
Deanna Harbor, Brown
Yeah.
County Community Health Quarterly Report. Deanna, are you with us?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
she
here.
is.
How are you this morning?
Good, good morning.
Thanks for your patience.
Yeah.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're doing great.
Good. Go. Okay, so we're reporting for January, February, and March. Kind of a slow time for us. We just finished up giving most of our flu shots in January. So kind of business as usual. Over the past quarter, family planning and WIC services we're doing every day. I did include the influenza report through April 15th.
Was that a little high this year?
Yeah.
This would seem to me, I don't remember what the numbers were in the past, but the
Yeah,
numbers
I have them
seem
there
to-
for you.
I see
Yeah.
that.
This has been a pretty
Oh, yeah, you got the other
intense
ones on
flu
there.
season. Right now, we're at 2,000 cases. We may very well break our record with the pandemic H1N1
How many
in
of those-
2009.
I think I asked this last time, how many of those people had the flu shot?
I don't know.
That'd be a good thing.
Good to
number
know,
We
yeah.
do know that the numbers are down for people that received flu vaccine this past year. Maybe in part due to the fact that we did not have funding available to vaccinate children. So, The Office of Emergency Preparedness did approach all of the POD committees within the state. They did secure some funding, and for those PODs that were interested, they have vaccine available to provide to children and volunteers next year. So the Aberdeen area did accept those grant dollars. We will be providing vaccine. October 24th is the date that we're scheduled to do that in Central, and that will be for children and volunteers. So we hope that that will affect, we'll have lower rates of influenza next year. But we are at 2,000 cases. There were 928 hospitalizations and 41 total deaths. 2 of those deaths did occur in Brown County. We've tested over 72,000 people this year for influenza, which is also pretty high. Questions? Anybody have questions?
Do you have the age groups of these old, these people that died?
I think that a median age was 87.
Of the death?
The median age, yeah, the average age was 87. Yeah.
Well, Dirk just said there was flu at the shop.
Yeah. We're still seeing cases. I mean, it's not unusual to still see cases into April. But, you know, usually it peaks January, February, March in there, so. And we still have vaccine available. I don't know that people are still straggling in to get shots, but we still have vaccine.
Ask you questions. If I'd read, I wouldn't have to.
That's okay.
That'd be too easy.
Any other questions?
Has the WIC caseload increased at all, or is it staying pretty steady?
It's pretty steady. This month it was down a little bit, but you can still see we're giving, you know, sending out how many vouchers every single month. So I think it was around 715 this month. Last month it was around 800. So it does vary from month to month, but we still send out about 800 vouchers every single month that they can cash within the community and pick up their food.
At what age do you move off of that?
5.
At 5?
Yeah, 0 to 5. Yeah, and then we do pregnant moms and breastfeeding moms. So. And then we're still giving out the free cribs, so for any family that doesn't have a safe sleep environment, we have cribs available.
Okay.
And we do issue those every month as well, yeah. So. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll see you in 3 months. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we've got Kimberly Dorset with an abatement request. Kim, are you with us?
Yep.
Come on in.
Hello.
Good morning, how's it going?
Going well, how are you?
We're good.
Good.
Good morning. How are you? Good.
I made some packets, I don't know if everybody wanted one, but, if you look through this, you'll see that we, have applied for an abatement or refund of taxes. The basis for that is that, a religiously exempt entity purchased the property.
Where's Mike? Is Mike in here?
Yeah, should we get our, director of the... I'll grab it off. Is that
Basically, it's the same thing as this.
Okay, just the application?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, go ahead.
No problem. So again, we're seeking an abatement refund, because, of their purchase of the, property after the assessment deadline had already occurred. I've also included the warranty deed, which shows they acquired the property in March of 2015. The next page shows the IRS designation showing that they are a recognized 501c3 entity and would be considered tax exempt. And the statutory authority is 1018-1. I have visited already with State Attorney Larry Lovern, and we discussed the situation, the law, and I believe he's of the opinion that the abatement's proper. So I'll let him chime in.
As you remember, there was originally a request for an exemption and the commission probably turned that down because it hadn't been applied for by November 1st of the previous year, and so there wasn't a legal basis for that. Now we're back on a request for abatement of the taxes that are due in 2017 for 2016. And the facts, I think, are fairly clear that starting in March 2016, when the church purchased the property through the end of the year, they used a portion of it at least for, the religious purposes. Part of it was leased to somebody, and the first part of the year, from January to March, those dollars were given to the church, as part of the settlement on the purchase, so that's available. And that those funds should be paid for the taxes until the church bought it. I don't see a legal impediment for the commission to go ahead and grant an abatement. I guess the question is, what square footage was used for religious purposes as opposed to used for commercial purposes, and so what is the amount of the abatement that's being requested, and how's that calculated? Now, of course, you're still free to decide whether or not you want to grant the abatement, but for the most part, I think there's a statutory basis for it. That's about the extent of what I can tell you.
Do you guys have an idea of how much square footage-wise? What was commercial versus what was used for, was it half and half? Was it what level?
Did you work with them on this at all, or?
The application made in 16 alluded to the fact that 75% was corrected to 100. That may have been okay for the capital, but there was still 2 other payments made somewhere, so I don't know the square footage there. There was something in August from Aberdeen Housing Authority for several $1,000s and something in, so once you start factoring that, the percentage gets a little cloudy at that point. So I don't have enough details at this point to give an exact percentage.
Do you guys know of that building? How much of it's commercial?
Right now, 100% of it is being used for religious, for 501c3. We're not renting it out this year, but for 2016, Progressive had rented it from, we received monthly payments from them April through November, so 8 out of the 12 months we received rent from them, and they had occupied the first floor.
In January through March, it was completely commercial before you're buying it, right?
We purchased it from the Aberdeen Development Corporation, and the settlement statement does reflect that there was a prorated taxes of $11,094.28. And so we're certainly not disputing that that would be part of the tax that would be owed. And then we have the real estate tax notice where each half of taxes is $22,520.32. And so, the calculations could probably get fairly complicated. We could perhaps have, get whether or not you approve or deny, and then we can work on the calculations
To clarify a little bit, regular taxes are owed up until the date of purchase. That's clear. And I think the statute, if I remember right, says that in a situation like this, if the transfer takes place in March is exempt by statute then, or at least a portion of it would be. So January and February for sure, and maybe the percentage of March that's used for commercial. So what's the total square footage, and what square footage was occupied by the commercial entity? And so that gives you a percentage, and then you apply it for the months that taxes are owed by the applicant here, and that'll pretty much tell you what is exempt and what isn't. And so it's not real complicated. You just got to have the starting date, the end date, and the percentages in between.
It says March 25th, according to the
That'd
warrant.
be pretty much all of March,
Yeah.
So the taxes due were roughly $44,000, $22,000 first half, $22,000 second half?
The total taxes is $45,040.63.
So we get 11 for sure.
Basically, 11 of that is...
The first 3 months.
Yeah, so subtract that off. Now we're dealing with the church's ownership for the balance of it. And what percentage of that was used for commercial? That's the percentage of the remaining balance that then should be paid. The rest of it, if you grant the abatement, would be abated.
And 8 of those months, you rented it.
Half, all of it.
We do this all the time with the splits, so all we need to know is
April through November.
the percent of the building that was rented.
From April to November.
April through November.
From April to November.
So
That's where
Michael
British
can
and
calculate out,
Yeah.
so Michael, can you calculate out and work with Kim on that and get,
We could, yep. I mean,
and
there
that
was
way
also-
we get the percentages right?
You
I appreciate it.
want the exact figure if you're gonna do the
Yeah.
abatement. You want to
If
get the
you're gonna
exact
do the
figure.
math, you have to do the measuring, and you should have the square footage and everything of what is what.
This is our standard form of the
So now nothing is being used for profit. I mean, there's no renting it out, no daycare, no commercial
No, not
use
right now.
whatsoever?
The only thing that's being
A
rented
different
is
form.
the
Okay.
garage.
We'll leave your form
But
with it
that
too,
is
because he
not
was-
included in
well,
that
I just
40,000
don't see
square
it
feet,
attached.
to my knowledge. You know,
This
just a garage
was
on
the
the back
notification
side of it.
of the
But,
denial
yeah, no
of
one else knows.
That's not any different if church owns farmland, farmland's taxable.
Yeah,
Same thing with your drainage,
And
you
Yeah.
get any earned income out of it.
Not the
Yeah,
denial.
I would recommend that they work with Michael and get this thing, give us some results for next week.
Concrete numbers
Yeah.
before we...
Rather
Is
than
that possible?
email, I just felt like it.
Can do that.
Okay.
But we'll have this on file too, with yours.
Sounds good. Any other questions before we...
So then in
For that.
the future, is there plans to rent the building out again? Because it's a hard thing to monitor if you're, one time you're doing this, and then all of a sudden, a year down the road, you decide to rent it again. You know, that goes back to your tax structure. Are you willing to give up your...
Well, we would have to, I believe. I mean,
And that's your call at that point, but, you know, you're jeopardizing your tax exempt status by...
I don't think you're jeopardizing the entire amount, though, just part of, the percentage in which you rent.
Would affect some portion of it.
I understand that.
And this is...
And we'll communicate that too, it's not, we'll let you know.
Yes, Larry?
Well, this isn't this is not an unusual circumstance for churches to own property that has a commercial value and is used that way. But you've already approved an exemption now starting for 2017, so going forward, that takes care of it. And then if there's some commercial use, then that has to be recalculated. But
Sure.
for now, you just have to figure out what you want to do for 2016.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, if you guys will bring that back for next week, we'll get something figured out that's fair and make sure you guys don't pay on what you're not supposed to be paying on, all right?
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
They wouldn't have to come back next week.
No, they don't, you don't have, Michael will be in contact.
We know that 100% taxable January through March. April through November is
Percentage.
the percentage that was not rented would be abated, and December, 100% tax exempt.
Yeah, Michael can work with you.
So we'll just calculate that once we get the
Numbers.
percentage of the building that was
Okay.
rented.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Nice seeing
Thank
you
you.
again, Kim.
She was saying that she misses this a lot.
I knew I missed
Bet she
the
does.
people, maybe not the job It's the stress, that's what I did.
Next on the agenda,
Okay, are
Judy.
you gonna make a motion to
Oh.
approve the abatement?
No, we're gonna wait till next week.
Okay, but they don't have to come in.
No,
Michael
no.
doesn't have to come in, it'll just be in the packet.
Well, unless they don't agree with
With the
Michael,
amount.
if you don't agree with Michael and you get it done, then you might have to come back.
Come back,
on
but,
that.
Okay,
If he comes up.
but based on the formula that we talked about is what.
got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, bye.
All right, Judy, to talk about quotes for compressor and discuss surplus property.
Yes, good morning. 3 months.
And Mr.
I'm her
Schmidt.
backup.
How are you?
I'm her backup.
Good, thank you.
So, what compressor are we talking?
So you're talking about a compressor on the jail chiller unit. It has 6 of them, I have one that's gone bad. And I wanted to wait because I wanted to have the full warranty through the summer.
I got two quotes. One is from Custom Sheet Metal for $6,990, and one from Woodman's for $6,600.
Close bid, huh?
Yes, it is.
What's this compressor for?
The chiller.
Oh, the chiller.
Yeah.
How long is the warranty?
I think it was a year.
Okay.
Yep.
There's no differences other than the
So,
pricing?
the only two different, one included, like, but it's not included if we need additional Freon, if they lock, additional Freon was gonna be like $53 a pound. I have R22, so it's not like, I even considered that, so. And the other one didn't even include it, because, they contain it, so he's hoping whatever all that he has, so whatever in the unit is.
Sounds good.
So who's low?
It would be, Woodman's.
What were the two numbers again, 6,000?
$6,990 and $6,600. Would you like to look at it?
Oh, that's fine, I just...
And you would say, which one would you say?
Oh, with the low one.
Is that installed?
Yes.
I move we go with Woodman.
Okay, motion from Hanson,
Second.
second from Feldheim. Is there any questions on those two quotes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Surplus property.
Did you guys want to sign them?
Sure.
Did you want to sign them? Then I was just going to give you a little update just for down the road. R22 is, they're kind of like doing away with that, just like they are with the 4-foot, the fluorescent. The T8s, I should say.
Eventually.
Yeah, so, down the road, all it's going to be for a while is that the R22 is going to just get a little more expensive. I do have some on hand, but I'm just telling you down the road, I'm hoping by that time, you might have to pay a few years a little more costly, but hopefully at some time, because, they're changing that, and I think it's going to be going to like a 410A refrigerant, but all our units are R22. So I'm hoping, to me, they come up with something that they can do like a drop-in that would have the 410, and take out the stuff that's holding, the refrigerant part is holding the R22, and do that. If not, I can't, to replace chillers, I'm hoping they come up with something.
Okay.
So, but that's down the road, so, if we have to, for a few years, pay a little bit extra for refrigerant, but at some point in time, if they don't, then that's something that'll have to be looked at. So,
Sure.
just gonna update you a little bit on that.
Any questions for Judy? Okay.
We have lots of surplus stuff.
Stuff?
Yeah, we have, like a convection oven and a big gas range, and, I kept the stainless steel countertop that was in the kitchen, and we have, office stuff. I'll just kind of send these around. We have, pace equipment, which is, some bikes and workout equipment. And I was wondering, it's gonna be up to you guys if we wanna have just a little auction sale, and if we could have it at the Mellon building.
I got an email that the city's doing one on the 12th. Could we piggyback off theirs and bring some of our stuff to the city, or no?
12th of May? Oh, did you check on City and School? Or?
No, I had asked you, and then you said you were gonna check with those guys, so I never checked with, the city.
Is it okay to piggyback
I
off
don't-
another
Sure, it
municipality?
is.
Is it
Okay.
okay?
If they're agreeable.
Yeah, I don't know.
They want to proceed on
Who do you
Are we not
contact?
having any surplus stuff at Highway Shop this year? He doesn't want one.
So there wasn't enough stuff out there at this point?
And a lot of our stuff, and you can see, we've got a lot of racks, a lot of stuff at our impound. Her small building is just packed. It'd be nice just to get rid of some of this stuff, because otherwise it's
And they have a
whole
couple
nother
cars.
Yep. And of the vehicles, we have two. One you guys might want to keep within county service. It's a 2007 Chevy Suburban, and I'm thinking it's really in good shape that someone in the county's probably going to pick it up rather than selling it. If it is picked up,
even maybe by communications, then that would free up a 3/4 ton Suburban that's also in really good shape. So whether it be highway, someone that's got heavy lifting, heavy towing, you know, this would be another vehicle that certainly would be good enough to stay within the county rather than just selling it outright. But either way, we're gonna have 2 vehicles to sell,
Sure.
so.
Do you want, do you have a contact over at the city to see if they would care if we just put?
No, I can call someone there. I'm just gonna say, I'm assuming their bill is already out. And I don't know if they get quotes
Well,
on.
the email I got said it's forthcoming, so it might,
Oh,
it was a
okay.
local.
It's worth checking if
Okay.
it works or
Yep.
not.
It's not
We
on
can-
there, online yet.
Yep, okay, will do.
Okay. Any other questions for Judy or Tom? Well, thank you guys.
You bet.
Appreciate the heads up.
We'll be sure that you have the date for the sale, because I'm sure it's some of this you just can't keep your hands on.
I know, right? Bring
Thank
a
you.
checkbook.
Where do they hold their sale?
I'm not even sure, they didn't have
At the city
details on
shop.
it.
It's at the city shop.
At the
on
city
Third.
shop and Third, yeah. The bike sale, I always call it.
Yeah, that's what I,
Okay, then you've got your transportation of all our stuff over there.
well,
Where-
if it's
It's
not
gonna
worth
have to
doing,
go
it's not
someplace,
worth,
yeah.
so we'll check into it. Next, we've got BMX lease proposal, let's discuss it.
And we're probably still in the process of coming up with terms for the
Okay.
negotiation.
Oh, okay.
You may want to conduct some of the discussion in executive session.
Gotcha.
And I think we just need a little guidance again from you on what you want to do before moving forward, so.
Okay. Is that something you wanted to talk about today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we need the guidance today. So
Okay.
I'd recommend an executive session. for a
Motion
few
from
minutes.
Feldheim to go into exec, seconded by Hanson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll go into exec for a contract.
Explain it that way, I'm sorry.
Yep. No action as a result of exec, and we had, personnel and contract. And then I think if they get the flags up so that, you know, 2 commissioners can make it out there as a group to talk with BMX about it, and then the rest of us at least can visualize where that building is gonna sit.
Okay.
So I'd like to see.
Okay.
Anybody in here besides Larry, Ernest, and
Nope.
Gary?
The 4 commissioners.
Well, yeah.
All right, anything else come up while we were in?
No.
All right, anything else for us?
Move adjourned.
Anything? Motion from Fishback.
Second.
Second from Feldheim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll be adjourned.